Hello, this is Kevin McCauley at the Get Healthy Club, and today I'm going to give you another health tip. I'm going to speak to you as your personal trainer and your lifestyle coach, and we're going to talk about proper posture while sitting. Now, this is very important because, as I've talked to you before about, the technology era is really impacting our health and not in a positive way. And one way it impacts our health in a negative way is that we end up sitting a lot. It isn't just that we're sedentary, but when we're sedentary, we're sitting, and the human body really wasn't made to be sitting. So I want to discuss with you a little bit about proper posture and some things that you might want to take a look at, and some things that you can do to maybe help you out improving what's going on with your low back and stress on your body. So we talked last week about proper posture while standing. So if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that. And now we're going to talk about proper posture while sitting. One thing that's very important is that you have the proper elevation of what's going on when you sit. The thing is that if you sit and the chair is too low, the femur will come up and it will be elevated. Okay? Now, that's actually a good thing. You really would like it to be to the point where your femur is about parallel to the floor or slightly elevated. Alright? So this is actually a good seat for me, but I'm 6'3". This chair actually is going to be a little bit high for most people. So when they sit, their knees are going to be down. And that's going to be a problem because the pelvis is going to have to shift. It's going to put a lot of stress on the low back. And here's the thing. Once one bone moves in an improper position, the entire body has to adapt. And it's the same thing when you're standing. If you're not doing the right thing with your foot, if you're not doing the right thing with your knee, the entire body is impacted on the way up. So, if for some reason you're in a chair that's too high, your knee is down, you need to put something underneath your feet, both of them, and elevate. If you don't do that, you're going to cause yourself some massive problems. Now, this is fine for me, so I'm okay. So what I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to start with a good base here. I'm comfortable with what's going on here. Now the key is I need to get my pelvis underneath me. I don't flex. See, this is not built to support your low back. This is not anatomically correct for helping you with proper posture. So what you really want to do is you always normally want to move, especially if you're going to sit for a long time, is get away from using this as a support. Now, once you do that, you move away, get the pelvis underneath you, engage your core a little bit, exhale this way, dry in this way, just enough to support your low back. And just like we talked about with the proper posture standing, you're going to pull your shoulder blades back and down a little bit. At that point, you want to make sure that your eyes are looking straight ahead. Matter of fact, I would actually say if you're going to be sitting for a long period of time, I almost suggest instead of going down, I would actually say up. The only reason for that is that your head will follow your eyes. So if my eyes are looking this way for 3 hours a day, what do you think my head's going to do? If my head goes forward, what do you think my low back's going to, or my upper back's going to do with my neck? It's going to go here. Next thing you know is I'm kyphotic in my upper back, I'm kyphotic in my lower back, and this is now my new posture. So this is very important. So if you're at a keyboard, if you're reading, if you're driving, you really want to focus on eyes straight ahead, and if anything, maybe eyes slightly elevated. So once again, get your eyes in the proper position, then think about lengthening out here. Now, this isn't quite as important, but remember we talked about with standing posture is what's going on with your hands. Because what happens is that when you're standing or even seated, if the shoulder blades are forward too much here and you're too tight in your chest, you're internally rotated. So what I'd suggest, when you sit down, what do you have going on here? If your thumb is still inward like this, even after this is actually pulled back with your shoulder blades, rotate this bone right here. Boom, until that thumb is straight ahead. And then seated posture, perfect posture would be like this. Now I would suggest that you work on that. Now, if you're weak in your core area, you're not going to be able to do that for very long. Your low back's going to get tired. But that's okay. What you want to do is you don't want to sit for too long in one position. So you want to get up, walk around, do some stretching, just do some reaching exercises. But you do need to get up and walk around. And it isn't necessarily it's a bad thing. It's just that we haven't adapted to sitting for long periods of time. That's all there is to it. I can help you with sitting properly, but we weren't made to do it. So you need to realize that you can develop the core a little bit, you can work on your posture while you're seated, but you are going to have to get up and move around. That's just the way it should be anyway. All right, so that's your tip for this week. Thank you very much for being here, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.